Coming up this week on Unpicked.
He'll
Women cannot be trusted to be in full control of men. You know, look how they do you.
I have an ex who was caught twice on different dating apps. They were like, oh no, I set up when we was on a break, and I forgot to. I didn't know how to delete it. I'm like, bro, you work in IT.
No, but there's a difference in it, because man, them, if you want to wear the grey jogger bottoms, bruv, wear the grey jogger bottoms. These girls have taken it to some next level.
No, we haven't.
Not sexy.
Wagwan peeps, it's Venom, what you saying? Alongside my home slice, damn me to the zane. When she and I get together on the poddy, ask anybody, the vibes are insane.
Join our family and feel free to come by. We on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yeah.
New drop on the way every Monday at 6.
Tune in and come see what we unpick.
So Venom, did you miss me?
Of course I missed you.
You better have missed me.
Look at her though, boy. Giving me the stressful one. This is how we're starting.
Yeah.
Trying to beef me. Why are you trying to beef me from the off?
Because, do you know what it is, yeah? I feel like if not for the podcast, there's not much of a friendship there. I'm putting you on blast.
You're putting me on blast?
Yeah. Guys.
Go for it.
Guys, for the last month, I think I've spoken to Venom like 3 times, and each time it was about the podcast. No, how you been? How you finding the break? No,
I was trying to let you have a break.
Let's go out. I'm going to this shindig. Do you wanna come through? Nothing. Just should we do a live? Cool. This is what I'm thinking to do for a podcast. Alright, cool. End of discussion. If you wanted us to just be podcast co-hosts and not friends anymore, you should have just said that. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. That.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. These times your bestie was tying up all his loose ends so he could go into the life of freelancing.
What
working
bestie?
Out his notice.
I don't have a bestie anymore.
Okay. Working out his notice, managing his finances, unpacking all of the things to unpack, setting up the future, all of that.
How's that been anyway?
Laying the foundations for his business. Yeah, it's been tough, boy. It's been interesting, but yeah, I'm here now. I'm on the other side. I'm a free man, so they say. So yeah.
I love it. It's probably scary because, like, I remember when you handed in your notice, it was almost like I'm venturing into the unknown type of anxiety. I got the vibe of, right? But you was very happy with your decision. But I imagine on your last day, that's when it proper hit you that, okay, it's on me now. There's no salary.
Alright, so I don't even think that it's on me now part has hit yet.
Okay.
But my last day, I was definitely like thankful because the last 3 weeks, I'd say, were probably longer than the whole 3 months. It just, once it was in sight, I was like, oh my God, can it not just be over? Like, even my manager was like, yo, before you go, like, can you just, because obviously because of like the level I was at, it's like, I can do this, I can do that. So then I'm getting pulled from pillar to post to try help set things up for when I'm not there. Mad tiring. Like, I probably worked, anyway, but I'm here now.
You're here now. You ready? You ready for the podcast again? You ready to go again?
Yeah.
Guys.
Ready to rock and roll. Setting everything up, man.
Guys, let's address the elephant in the room, yeah? The last time you saw us on the screens, yeah? Especially those of you on YouTube and those of you that listen to us on the audio platforms, the last time you saw or heard from us officially, we told you that we'd be back in 2 weeks. We've been off for so long, I can't even remember what date that was. I can't remember how many weeks it's been. And the way in which content creation works, people often start to think, maybe these people ain't gonna come back. And with the way podcasts are, people start podcasts and then they don't
make it past 30 episodes
or get to 100 or you hear we're on a break and they just don't return. Obviously, with Unpicked, never that. We're going to keep going. But the long of the short is, I would say we needed a break, like a solid break, and the 2 weeks just wasn't enough. And so we said, you know what, we're going to just chill out, and when it feels right to return, we'll return. So hopefully you lot can forgive us. Those of you that are already part of the family, hopefully you can forgive us for us leaving you in the lurch. But we're back now.
It's true.
But we're back now. We're back now. And hopefully, no, not hopefully. I know that we're going to be back and better. So it's okay. Another elephant to address is we're not in the studio. Not for any other reason other than because we didn't know when we were coming back. We didn't book the studio, innit? Like, let's just keep it a buck. Let's just keep it real. So we said, let's go back to what we know. Like, we used to do this remotely. That's how we started in the first place. It was working out fine. So basically just expect to see sometimes we'll be in the studio, sometimes we'll be doing it this way. The content's still going to be the same. The vibe is still going to be the same. With that all cleared up. Those of you that are new here, hi, my name is Dami Zayn, in the building. I don't remember what else I say, so I'm going to leave it there.
It's the hey, hello, hi.
Yeah.
She forgot her lines.
Did I say hey?
That's a bad one.
Didn't I say hey, hello, hi?
Probably. Maybe you did it in a different order.
Maybe.
It didn't come out like how I know it.
Oh, yeah, because normally it's like, hey, hello, hi. It's your home slice, Dami Zayn, in the building.
There you go. And I'm like, it's your homeboy, Venom.
In it. All the beatboxing.
The beatboxing and that.
If you are new here, thank you for clicking on this episode. You'll see that we have over 60 or 70 episodes in the archive. Go pre that after this. If you like what you see, subscribe. And I'm just gonna keep it. Oh yeah, Instagram. We're even on Instagram Threads. You know, on Threads. I'll pop all the deets on the screen. QR code on the screen. All that jazz will be there, and it like cool.
How's Toby doing anyway?
Toby's good. You know, he's growing up. Update. Toby's getting the snip.
Oh, no.
In 4 weeks.
In 4 weeks, but he ain't having no kids in 4 weeks.
Nope.
So he's not allowed to have no kids?
Not under my roof.
What about Toby's legacy?
No, that's his business.
No legacy, you know?
Yeah, this is where it ends. His siblings can handle that.
Mad thing. After Tobes is like, you get me, 1 in a million.
Toby is the most horniest dog I know. Every dog he sees, don't matter the size.
He just whips out the lipstick.
He is up in there. He's he'll be underneath them trying to lick their whatever. He'd be trying to mount them. Like, he's not innocent anymore. And he's not aggressive with it, but I feel like if I don't...
He doesn't ask for consent, so...
No, and he's one of them ones where it's like persist. What's that saying? Persistence. I can't remember. There's a saying that I used to hear about persistence. I don't know. Anyway, he's very persistent. No, like to Toby, no means yes. It's not no means no. It's like consistent. And I don't want him to become aggressive. So bye-bye. In the hopes, like, he'll still try and mount like other dogs.
You're not trying to let him have one for the road though, like just one for one last rodeo, so that man's got his use.
I have thought about the fact that Toby's never experienced like doggy sex, because I always stop it before it gets that far.
He's never even beat.
He's a virgin.
Nah, you're doing a madness. The
way you said that, he's never beat. That's it.
You're doing a madness.
He's a virgin.
You're starving the man of sex, and then you're even gonna now castrate him.
He's not a man. See? He's not a man. He's a dog. See?
He's a man. In the dog world, that's a man.
In the dog world, that's a man.
That's what I'm saying. Women cannot be trusted to be in full control of men. You know, look how they do you. Ain't even beat, and she's trying to chop your thing off. You know, just so you're not aggressive.
Yeah.
Imagine.
And it can prevent. It prevents cancer because dogs get. They can get. It's a higher chance of cancer if they.
He's still a puppy. He's still young. He's not like some old ass dog. He's young. You're talking about things that have years and years to manifest. You're trying to bring them as an excuse as to why you're going to castrate him now, today in 2023, after he ain't beat. Come on, man.
I don't know.
I'm not even a dog person, but if you're talking about willies, come on, man. He ain't even seen a doggy vagina yet, and you're trying to chop his thing off.
Oh, he's seen bare doggy vaginas.
But he ain't seen it like for real.
He's been licking them and all that. It's too.
That ain't nothing, man. That ain't nothing. He's just a little doggy bowcat right now.
Yeah, he's a doggy bowcat. Heavy.
He ain't done nothing.
Well, 10th of August, it's marked in the calendar. I'm counting the days down.
Mad. You know when he's now walking through the park, the man them ain't gonna show him no respect.
They will.
They're gonna show him no respect after he's already small. You know, he's already small, and now the lipstick ain't gonna be applying nothing. Is that how you gonna do him, Dammy?
That is how I'm doing him.
Damn.
So moving on, okay. But Toby's cool.
Damn.
He's currently sleeping right now. Toby's chilled so much since you last saw him because he's not a puppy anymore. So he's not as excited. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe he heard you make the booking, so that's why he's not as excited.
Maybe. We'll see how his behavior changes once it gets done. Apparently he's going to gain weight because he's really lean right now because he runs a lot. Man. So apparently his metabolism's going to slow down. So he's going to be a bit of a chunky dog. Yeah, a little bit. But it's got to be done. So you ain't the one that's got to deal with it.
This is it, man.
It's so easy for people to say, but you're not the ones that have to deal with it. I'm the one that has to deal with it. So
I'll tell you a story, right? Related to Toby, related to yourself, related to me, even related to a theme that we might explore later on in the video. Right? I had a cat, and I think I've spoken about this story when my cat was going to pass away, same kind of time as my grandma.
Yeah.
So my cat's in the vet, and I can't even remember. I think maybe my mum had to take my cat to the vet or something because of timings and work and whatnot. I can't remember. Anyway, the whole point was that he had to get his he had to have like a catheter put on so that he could pass the crystals that were stuck in his trail, the urine trail. That's what the issue was. So it would kill him if it doesn't.
Did he have gallstones? Was it gallstones? Is that what they call it?
I don't know. I think they're called certain crystals, like urine crystals or some kind of crystal from eating dry food.
Right.
So so he just had to have a catheter put in so that he could pass these crystals. It's all good. Just don't give him dry food anymore and it kind of won't come back. Okay, cool. As my mum's taking him in for that, she's also asked them to snip him. I'm like, what has that got to do with anything? So now I get back this cat that's been snipped. He ain't had sex. And obviously he ain't gonna have sex because he's a house cat and he lives with me. It's just man them in this house. But this is my point, is women are bare free to just be castrating men. I'm not here for it.
It's a pet.
I'm not here for it.
Okay.
Oh, it's a pet. So does that reduce this? What does it reduce about it?
Because it's a pet, I am responsible for his well-being and his health. So I got to do what I got to do.
Okay, so is that cancer risk right now? So you got to
There's more pros to neutering and spaying your pets than not. If you spoke to a vet, that's what they'll tell you. I mean, you could argue the vet's trying to make money, but...
Definitely trying to make money. Plus, if they're animals, and I'm sure how they naturally occur is probably the best way for them to occur, is my assumption.
Oh yeah, 100%.
No,
100%. You're not wrong, but my decision's been made, so we're gonna move on.
Oh, I know your decision's made. I know it's made. I try to convince you.
My decision's been made for months. Would you rather think that everything you hear is a lie, everything, or think that everything you hear is the truth?
I'd rather think that everything I hear is the truth.
Oh, so positive. Would you rather have your entire life made into a movie or your entire life written in a book?
Probably a book, because the movie's going to miss out so many details. Like, you're going to have to focus on one pivotal moment and base it around that. But a book, like, you can do the journey. This life's been a journey for me, boy.
I hear it. I prefer...
And then cheating chapters, they need to go deep.
The thing is, for me, I'm more of a book over movie person, because I like the character development that you get from a book. I often find that when I finish reading a book, I feel more entrenched in the story. I feel more like I care about it more. Whereas when I watch a movie, I'm like, oh, that was sick. On to the next.
And that's it. It's done.
Okay, last one. Communicate with your past self or communicate with your future self?
Communicate with my future self.
What would you say? What would you want to know?
I don't really know, you know.
What would you want to know?
It'd be more so for like, it depends, innit? You know, like when they're talking about like going into the future and going into the past, all that kind of stuff. That's how this question is feeling. So I don't know if I can affect anything, but I guess my questions would be like, so long as they're not able to affect something, it might be like, okay, so I'm thinking of X, Y, Z, like, should I risk it? And then my future self can be like,
but that
sounds
would
like it might be alright.
But that would affect things, because that would be changing the course of your future, no?
I mean, they might be, as in they would only tell me what I've done, innit? So they can only tell me the outcome. So I don't know, it might be like, sound like a good idea. Doesn't sound like something I did, or I don't know. It depends what you can talk about. It depends what you can talk
There's
about.
no caveats.
But I think the past has already been had. So like, I don't know if there's anything I want to say to my past self. Like, my past self has informed me more than anything. So I'm
that's a good way to
talk to someone.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. For me, I mean, it's not about me. So moving on.
Nah, I want to hear what you do. Just on that one, what would you do?
I'd speak to my past self. It's been a while, yeah, but some things have been going on out there in the world. Do you know what I mean?
There have been things going on in the world.
And I think I'm just going to keep it lighthearted, but have you seen that study that apparently said that, was it 66% of people on Tinder are actually not single?
Yeah. Very interesting statistics. 66%.
A whole 66.
A whole 66. Now, assuming Tinder is 50-50 male and female, which it's not.
No.
But assuming it was, I would also assume that more of that 66% is male, for sure. The only reason why I'd assume that is because I do know a lot of guys have not an issue with breaking up with women, but like they're more likely to stay with a woman that they're not really with in their heart until someone better comes along. I know that.
That's so sad to hear.
It's the truth.
Do you know what it is, yeah? I saw another statistic. I can't remember the stats, the numbers, but apparently they were saying that men who are single have a lower life expectancy compared to men who are married, who have a higher expectancy. So basically, men who are single die sooner than men who are married. But for women, it's flipped. Single women live longer than women that are married. And the new word on the street for the women that want to be advocating being single is that it's actually a detriment to women to be in relationships with men because it lowers their life expectancy, whereas it's a benefit for men to be in relationships because it increases it for them.
Yeah, I don't believe all
And
that. I mean, people massage these numbers.
I know, right? And it makes it so interesting that what you're saying about men staying with people that they might not necessarily even like that, but they're just staying there. It just makes me think maybe there is an element of truth to that, to the stats that, or the supposed stats that I just spoke about. Because why are you staying with someone that you don't like? What is there must be a benefit to staying with them if you don't really like them like that. Do you get it?
No, I think it's just men don't like passa. Sometimes you look at a situation and you'll be like, you know what, yeah, this ain't even really working like that, but why am I going to disrupt the whole thing right now just to, I don't know, be single, assuming, or like not have somewhere to live or mess up, whatever it may be. I don't know, you know, the way you can be joined with someone can be a variety of different complications. But if someone who you're like, oh, I can see myself with this one, I can imagine my future with this person or whatnot, that is now like incentive to be like, all right, you know what? I'm going to have to break this off. I'm going to have to blah, blah, blah. But if you never see that person, they might just be like, yeah, you know what, and just coast for the rest of their life.
I don't know if it's you not making sense or me not understanding what you're saying, to be honest, because for me, the way I see it is we hear men shouting from now till kingdom come that they want peace. Surely it's more peaceful to be alone than to be with someone you don't like.
Depends on the scenario. Depends what being alone is. If being alone is don't have a place to live.
Single. Just be single.
Yeah, but if your partner gives you peace, they're just not the person that you love like that. Why is that not peace?
What I'm saying is, surely, if you don't really like that person, they can't give you peace because you don't really like them. You're just tolerating them.
Nah, tolerating, there's a difference between like peace and the absence of peace. If you're with someone and they don't disrupt your peace, you just don't love them like I'm head over heels, like this is the one for me. That doesn't mean that they don't give you peace.
But
it just means that they're not the one.
That whole concept of this is the one is very childish, I'm sorry to say. Like, I feel like as you mature, you stop believing in fairy tales and you become more logical about it. You can still really love someone, even though you don't believe in this is the one. Do you get it? You can still love someone, but to say they can stay with someone that they might not necessarily like that or love like that, that's scary. That's very scary. That's like, for me, that's my worst nightmare, to be with someone that I don't really love like that. That will not give me peace. Every time I look at you, I'll be like, look at his big head. Flipping hell. Look at how he's breathing. Why are you breathing so loud? I don't even like you like that.
Yeah, but that's not the architecture of a woman to be like that.
I know. And this is probably why a lot of women are like, I'd rather be single than be with someone, because now women are not compromising. They're like, you know what? If I don't like him like that, if he's not, and I'm not necessarily talking about the materialistic stuff, but things like if he doesn't give me peace, if the relationship isn't somewhat, do you know what I mean, like enjoyable for me, I'm not staying. Where it's like, it sounds like you're saying even if the relationship's not really particularly enjoyable for the guy in the sense of him really loving the woman, he'll still stay.
Yeah, like he might,
because of housing.
I mean, there's going to be a different there's lots of different reasons. It might be housing. It might be that they have a child together and he wants to be the father to their child, and he's keeping it together for the sake of like the whole family unit. But then he meets someone who's like, oh my God, no, this is how I want to be loved. This is the kind of person I want to be with. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to have to break up my family for this.
I'm sorry, but I don't believe in couples staying together just because they had children. If anything, that's more toxic and causes more trauma than just co-parent.
Yeah, but that's not what everyone believes.
I know, but that's what they should believe. And this is my podcast. This is my podcast. So I'm gonna say what I want to say. But no, I hear it. But yeah, no, it's interesting. It's interesting. I'm not surprised that at the numbers for Tinder. I've always assumed that I actually thought it was going to be higher than that. I was expecting it to be higher than that. Tinder is considered as a hookup dating app. It's not a find your serious babe app. So,
of course,
So, you know, if you want to cheat, that's the best place to go.
But you said hookup, and to me, hookup culture is a single culture. It's like, yeah, I'm single. I want to hook up with someone. Let's hook up. Not like, oh yeah, I'm in a relation. Plus, it's so bait as well. Like, you have no control over who will see you. It's based on like not Facebook friends, but like it is kind of linked to Facebook in that sense. And so, if you're with someone, assuming it's not a secret, your someone will have friends, so you will be seen on there. You can't stop people like you. Or has it changed? You can't be like, this person in particular, proximity. Like.
No, but every dating app is like that. Hinge is like that as well. Like, I have an ex who was caught twice on different dating apps.
I'm like, what? You can't be more bait than to be on a dating app. And then what, you're going to say, oh, no, that my profile, it weren't meant to be active. I'm not active on it.
Yeah, apparently because we had a break. They were like, oh, no, I set up when we was on a break and I forgot to, I didn't know how to delete it. I'm like, bro, you work in IT.
He messed up.
You work in IT and you're telling me you don't know how to delete
an app on the iPhone. Or an account on get out of there, bro.
But you work in IT.
At least think of a good life.
You work in IT. Bro, when I'm struggling with social media apps and anything technology, it's you that's fixing it. But you don't know how to delete... Guys, when guys, when you're going to lie to women, yeah, think about it. Because you know
Think about it, man.
Think about it, because you know what, yeah?
Please.
You lot like to say that we're not logical. But when it comes to a story that you're telling us when we think you've done something wrong, all of a sudden, we become logical creatures. We start dissecting it. Do you know what I mean? And everything,
yeah.
And then it doesn't make sense. And when it doesn't make sense, then you start saying, oh, her energy's off. And then you get upset because she's been keeping you there as a placeholder, waiting for her exit plan. It's because you lied that time and she clocked you. And she thought, let me let him continue in his lie. I'm checking out mentally. And then when she goes, she's the evil one. No, you lied, bro. If you're gonna lie properly. That's what I'm gonna say. This is why
it's the facts.
Lie properly. This is why they say, yeah, when women cheat, we're better at it. The lie will be logical. It will make sense.
I don't think women cheating is better at. I think the only reason why women, right? They say women are better at cheating. I think men care less about where their women are on a day-to-day.
That's not true.
I think women are always like,
that's not true.
I know he's cheating on me.
No.
They're just like, women default think men are cheating.
Yeah, because...
Yeah, but men don't think that of women. So when women cheat, I think 9 times out of 10, it's a woman that's dating a man who literally just assumes she's faithful.
You make a good point. But this is something else I was talking about over the last month with one of my friends. In that women are conditioned to accept that men cheat. And so in a way, it's almost like we're prepared for it. That's why when women are cheated on, you hear more stories of women being able to almost get over it, accept the man back, continue with the relationship. It's less likely that a man will accept a woman after he's been cheated on by her. He struggles with it. I don't think men are socialized or are even prepared for such an event, which is why that might feed into why men don't seem to be like, where's she now? Let me wait till she's sleeping to pre her phone. Let me get my girls to set up burner accounts so that they can like catch her out on social media. You don't really hear those type of things because men are not really thinking that they can be cheated on or that they will be cheated on. And then when they are cheated on, they don't know how to handle it because they've not been socialized to accept that it's a thing that
they just counsel the woman more time.
It's like, it's not a thing that they accept that women are capable of doing, even though they know that anyone's capable of cheating. But it's not something that you're like, all women cheat. There's not that doesn't exist in society. Whereas for women, there is that idea that all men cheat, and so you're kind of preparing yourself for the inevitable. And then I actually do think that women are more mentally strong when it comes to heartbreak and stuff like that because of things like this, because we almost accept that men are inadequate. We almost expect them to be incompetent when it comes to relationships, so that when it breaks down, it's like, cool, well, I kind of knew that men cheated, so he proved what we already knew type thing. But I don't know, it's a theory. I don't know everything. It's a theory. But with this online thing, I did expect to see higher percentages because I'm a woman, and like I said, we're conditioned to believe that men are cheaters. They cheat, they lie, they're more. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's. So I was thinking, yeah, and plus I know a lot of guys that are in relationships right now that I've witnessed them cheat. So I'm not surprised that there's people that are in relationships using things like Tinder, or Hinge or whatever dating apps. And I've noticed that a lot of single people are veering away from these apps unless they're using it for hookup, because it's not a serious place to find people anymore.
I don't think Tinder ever was a serious place to find people, but
I think when it first came out, I feel like it probably was, but maybe not so much anymore because people use it for hookup, innit?
People use it for the hanky-panky.
People use it for hanky-panky.
Yeah. But then if people are not using the apps, what are they using? Because as far as I have seen, the statistics for people being single, at least in the UK, is still going up. So it's not like they're using something else and it's more successful. I feel like they're just veering away from it.
They're just not using it. Like, for me personally, as a single person, I don't use dating apps at all. I don't believe in it. I don't think that anyone on there is serious anyway. Mm-hmm. You do hear of like couples that are like, oh, we got married, we met on a dating app, but I feel like those are few and far between.
Yeah, for sure.
And because of the way that we use social media in general, dating apps feel like social media to me. Like, when I was briefly on Hinge, I wasn't even taking things seriously on there. I was just swiping. Oh, he looks there. Swipe.
Mm.
But it felt like a game. It didn't feel like I'm actually...
it felt consumerist.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it didn't feel like I'm genuinely trying to get to know this person, or I genuinely even find this person attractive. I'm just swiping because I'm bored. I'm on the train on the way home from work. Swipe. It's not that I really care. I'm not really paying attention. Do you get what I mean? So I feel like when there's too much of something, the novelty wears off and it doesn't feel as... Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel... And that's what's happened for me personally. Plus, the very few men that I met on there were not serious anyway. They were looking for hookups, and I'm no longer. Yeah, I'm not in the hookup. I'm not trying to hook up.
You're not in the market for that.
No. So, yeah.
Did they come out and say that straight though?
Nah. They say things like open to relationship, open to long term.
Okay, that's the line. Okay.
Yeah. So, but basically that captures the girls that want long term, because you're thinking, oh, he's open to it, and then you start talking to him and you're like, oh no, he just said that to waste my time.
I mean, open is, I don't know, like I say, it was a very long time ago when I used them apps, so I don't even think I had said anything about like what type of relationship I was looking for.
But they ask now. They ask specifically, like on Hinge. They say,
as in, it's a box.
It's a
on
box.
The app.
Yeah. So like on Hinge, I've never been on Tinder, but I know on Hinge it'll ask you looking for, and then you select the options.
Oh, I said like women, like boy, my age up to like 40. I was like, let's go. And I was probably like about, I don't know, like 20. How old was I? Probably about 28, 27 at them times.
Yeah.
I was somewhere around there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, yeah, I've said that at the moment, God will actually have to put my address or something in the man's mind, and he has to knock on my door and be like, God told me that you're the one for me to take any guy seriously.
You would take that guy seriously, the guy that just showed up and said, yo, God said.
Because I've put it out there into the atmosphere, and because I've prayed on it, yeah, I'll have to take it seriously. I have to be like, you know what? I've been saying this so many times, and God has a funny way of, do you know what I mean? So I'll be like, all right, I guess this is it. I'm just hoping that when he says it, he's paying, so that when I see him, I'm like, yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
These caveats, man, That's why I like my mum, right? No offense to anybody, including my dad even. I think my dad's a good-looking guy anyway. But my mom likes ugly men, you know. She says it. She said, I like ugly men.
Some women are like that. Some women like ugly men. I'm not built that way.
Mad.
I'm not built that way.
Because
do you know why?
There's good guys out there.
Do you know why? Do you know why? And I say
genuine.
this, and it might sound like I'm big-headed, but I'm a babe. I know that I'm attractive, and I really don't want to. And I'll be frank. I care what people think. I don't want to be walking down the road with my man, and people are like, "Is she blind?"
No, that's mad. All right. So you know who's an ugly man, yeah? Who's so ugly he's attractive? Is what's his name? I can't remember his name, but he plays Aquaman.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. He's not I don't think he's attractive at all.
He's not, but he's so ugly that he is attractive.
No.
He's got a charm to him.
No.
All I'm trying to say is you got to find the charm.
What it is for me, there's good-looking guys that also have charm. The thing is for me is I want us to be an attractive couple. I want to look at my man and be like...
You're doing up aesthetics as well.
Yeah, and I want to look at him and be like, scramdilly, yum, a purr. Like, I want to be like, oh, he's so good looking. Wow. I want to be like, he irritates me and I'm like, you're annoying. Because I can't even be angry with you because you're so attractive. Like, I'm looking at you and I'm like, you really pissed me off. But because you're looking so sexy right now...
but what you're describing...
I am annoyed with you, babes. But you're paying in it, like obviously, I'm gonna forgive you because you're very good looking.
But what you're describing is someone whose looks compromises your integrity, your decision making abilities.
I'm talking about he's a great guy, everything's great, but you know, conflict resolution. Like we're in a relationship, we're committed, everything, and I don't know. I asked him to wash the plate. And he didn't. He just put it on the side. And I get in the kitchen after a long day and I see the plate on the side. And rather than me be like, babe, I told you to wash the plate. Like, why didn't you wash the plate? I'll now look at him and be like, you know what? It's okay.
Because you're paying.
Because
see this pretty privilege. This pretty privilege that you girls complain about and then you want it for your life. This is what I'm talking about.
I don't complain about pretty privilege because I don't complain. I have an easy life. I don't have problems. Okay. I don't complain about pretty privilege.
Okay.
I was about to say something very controversial.
Say it. Is this not unpicked? Are we not?
I feel like
anything?
I feel like people that don't benefit from pretty privilege complain about pretty privilege. I've never complained about pretty privilege.
Damn, she said it, boy. She did. Let me give you a second.
No, but hear me out.
Let that one marinate.
It's marinated. It's fine. It's seasoned nicely overnight. All that. But I get why it's not fair because I wouldn't like it if I wasn't on the receiving end.
I understand that you're ugly and I'm not, and people they'll mess with you like that. Cause
you said that, not me. I can say the same thing for colorism. Like I'm a dark skinned Black woman. If you was to pair me with a mixed woman or a very, very light Black woman, they will probably have way more pretty privilege than me.
Right.
So I understand, but I mean, life isn't fair. Some people are up, some people are down. Like it is the way that the world works. I'm a big believer that you take your strengths and you run with it. I know that I get pretty privilege and I use it to my advantage. If you got it, flaunt it.
Life.
You got to do things to make your life easier. Do you understand me? So if you know that you have a certain privilege, then go with it. Do you know what I mean? Like it is what it is. I ain't hurting nobody. So it is what it is. But yeah, man. What was we even talking about? Oh yeah, dating apps.
We're talking about your peng boyfriend. That's
my peng
that's getting away with away with not doing the dishes, not hoovering the floor, not doing the laundry.
No. He won't 100% get away with it, but it will definitely be a thing where it's like, because what I don't want, because I've been there, is not be attracted to the person that I'm dating, yeah, and they do something and it's like, it's emphasized. It sounds so cliche, but it's like, I don't like you right now, but I also don't like you. Do you get it? Because it's like, I don't like you right now, but you're not even good looking as well. It's a piss take. It's actually disrespectful to be. No. Do you know what? I actually believe this.
You said you're annoying me.
It's like I gave you a chance because you're not even the type of person. Like, I don't even think you're good looking. I gave you chance, and this is what you're doing with it. You're using it to piss me off. Nah. And then you know what happens?
I gave you chance.
No, I gave you a chance because I compromised. I said, you know what? You're not even that good looking, or I don't even find you that physically attractive. But maybe it's your personality or your humor or how you make me feel that I've gone for, which women do. I've gone for that. And then you have the audacity. Deep it. You have the audacity to disrespect me on top. Wow. After I already compromised with you. Nah, I don't want to feel like that ever again. So now it's like, you know what? I can be like, you know what? At least you're sexy. You've disrespected me, but at least you're sexy. I'm not irritated times 1,000 because you're ugly on top. Do you get it? Like, I don't know if I'm making sense, but it makes sense to me though.
No, it's making perfect sense. But this is why guys cheat.
Right? But I'm not gonna cheat because if I'm with someone that I find attractive from the get-go, what am I cheating for? He's good looking.
No, but I'm saying this is why guys cheat.
Why is that?
Because you get given this privilege. Because think about it. I know ugly guys cheat, but more time when ugly guys cheat is because they have a low self-esteem. Guys in the middle, whatever. But pretty guys or buff guys or pen guys, however you want to word it, the reason why they cheat is because girls inflate them. Yeah. And they give them privilege to cheat.
This is why the kind of good-looking guys I like are the ones that are good-looking, but they don't know that they're that good-looking.
Right.
I just want someone like me. Because as much as, okay, it might sound mad, yeah. Obviously, I know that I'm a pretty girl, but I still don't think I'm the creme de la creme. When I'm told that I'm very attractive, I'm still like, I'm all right. That's what I want in a guy. Do you get it? He's got a bit of confidence, but it's not so much confidence that he's moving mad. Do you get what I mean? That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want. Okay. Yeah, that's what I want. But I don't want an ugly guy. No. That's not for me. No.
Okay. Young black girl from TikTok called Wunmi.
Wunmi Bello.
Yeah.
The dress.
So you do know.
Is it the dress?
So this young lady decided to post her havoc and devilish decision to wear this dress on her first date with a young man.
Not you including opinions in your narration of what happened. Instead of you to state it plain, you're here to devilish and havoc.
Let me tell you, I put my comment, when I saw this video, I put my comment straight under the post of whoever did it, Shade Bar or whatever, because this dress was epic.
The thing is, it was a first...
Tantalizing.
Yeah, it was a first date dress. Do you know what's funny about that dress? She's not actually showing anything. Like, her breast was covered, her bum was covered. It's just the fact that...
Partially.
No, it was. It's just that you saw her torso, the middle bit. And it's cut in such a way that... And then I had to explain it. Like, she had the bit around here that actually covered her nipple and all the parts that would be crazy. Mm-hmm. But the way that it was cut and the lowness of the cut at the bottom towards her hips, it gave to the imagination, but it didn't give to the imagination all at the same time.
Tantalizing.
It was very tantalizing. I saw the dress and it did end up in my DMs, but it ended up on my DMs on Twitter by one of my male friends. And I saw the dress and I was like, that dress is hideous. I thought the dress was hideous. Not because it's tantalizing, but because I just didn't like the cut of the dress. Also, probably because I know that I couldn't pull it off. Because you see my tatters, the nipple be out. Like, I'd walk, my pom-pom flaps would be swinging. everything could be
I think
out.
I think she would have had trouble moving as well, to be fair. I think it was good for like doing a video and
she's got a very nice shape.
She's
She's got a very, very nice body. But she's also, nothing on her is like extreme. In that, what I mean is like, she doesn't have really big boobs. She doesn't have really big bum. Everything's like, do you know what I mean? She's got a nice figure, but everything is, you know, nicely packaged. Not saying I'm not nicely packaged, but I'm a bit on the bigger side. So if I wore a dress like that, everything is falling out. That means I'm basically naked. Do you know what I'm saying? So I saw it, and when I look at clothes on women, I automatically just think, how would that look on me? And that determines whether I like it or not, to be honest. Looks great on her. Definitely sexual. Don't know if it's a first date dress. It should have, I feel like that's more of a my man dress, not a on the first date dress. But hey. But the girls were tearing her apart online, boy. That's how I saw it. I saw it on Twitter because a lot of girls were tearing her apart. They were like, she's crazy.
What did you see the girls saying?
They were like, basically, your fanny's out, sis. Like, what, on a first date? Are you okay? Are you sure?
Well, they were worrying about the fanny. Eh? You couldn't even see her fanny anyway.
No. It was a lot. It was a lot for a first date. It was a lot.
It was way too much for a first date.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was way too much for a first date. I saw the video, saw the caption, and then tried to like take it in like, what am I doing in this situation? The way I felt about it was thinking back to me being in a scenario where I'm going on first dates with girls.
I was about to ask you.
Like this, who I'm assuming the scenario is not like, oh, I know this person and you know, we're definitely secure and whatnot. This is a first date. She's trying to put her best foot forward. Clearly, she likes the guy. So assuming that the guy is the type of guy that I was, who's going to date a girl that's like, I'm infatuated with. Like, I'm going to talk to a girl if I'm infatuated. I see them, I'm like, ooh. So it's already a lot. And that's based on you probably in regular clothes. You know what I mean? So now if I'm pulling up to a date and you're wearing a dress like this and it's date number 1, that's it. Mental health issues immediately. Because how am I supposed to resist?
Like Toby.
Yeah, but it's not even like that. It's like destructive almost. Because how are you supposed to keep it together? Imagine you have a crush on this girl and this is developed in your head, obviously, because you've met her and you've spoken to her. And this is based on regular clothes. Now you're going to just eat food and this is what arrives.
We've spoken about this before when we were talking about whether women have over-sexualized themselves. And my stance on that has somewhat changed, but some parts are still the same. I feel like men need to take responsibility for their own sexual discipline. And I know that it's all chemical, hormonal. Men can't help it. They find what they find sexy, but women find what they find sexy, and we still have somewhat better self-control than men do. It seems, apparently, you would assume. And so I'm just thinking about the things I like in a man, things that I'm like, oh, that's very sexy, right? And I imagine I'll go on a first date and that's all I see. I know that I would be like, that's very sexy, but I still have to maintain decorum. And I feel like men need to take responsibility for their part. That being said, though, I feel like women should also take responsibility for theirs. In that, if you want to be labeled a certain way, then present in that way.
Yeah.
Wunmi is a Christian. She recently put out, I don't know if it'll be that recent by the time this video comes out, but she did recently, because she does interview style podcast. She's got a podcast and it's an interview style podcast. Cool. Kind of like ZZ Mills, but she's turned it into a podcast. And she gets influential people on her show or people that she knows are really close to her, and she interviews them. And, you know, she's got a very cool and calm disposition. She might present like a typical UK baddie, but she doesn't. She didn't have that same energy. She doesn't actually have that temperament, in that she's not stush, she's not rude, she's not, do you know what I mean, like that. She's very, like, I've met her in real life as well. A few years ago, I went on holiday with one of my girls, and we were in the same circles, and then we all went out. Like throughout the trip, we kept going out in that group, and she was in the group.
Mm-hmm,
So I've met her like as a person, and she's not the way that, if you was to take how she dresses, she doesn't present that way in person in terms of her personality. So recently she did a rebrand, and she was like, I feel like the show that I've been doing, I've not been myself. I've not been showing you that side to me that everybody else gets to see. And so more recently, she's even put out an episode where she was talking to her pastor. So she's an actual like Christian girl. She journals, she reads her Bible, and you can tell from the way she talks as well that she's in her faith. I don't think that the way she dressed presents her in that light. And just thinking about, if she was going on this date for fun, fine, wear what you want to wear, sis. But if you're trying to rebrand and present yourself, as you're saying, and present yourself in your true self, which is sweet, kind, do you know what I mean? That type of woman. Then I think the way that she dressed that day for a first date wouldn't have given that perception. And as much as I'm for women taking control of how they dress and having some kind of sexual liberation and wanting to be sexy, nothing wrong with wanting to be sexy, nothing wrong with wanting to dress sexy. But the caveat to that is balance, which I always say, and I say it like that, balance, immensely. Have balance. Also, still have at the back of your mind that how you portray is how you're going to be perceived. So just have that at the back of your mind as well. So yeah, I feel like basically I've said what I'm in a roundabout way. I'm basically
no.
saying,
I like what you said. Yeah, that came across when she was speaking.
Yeah,
which shifted what was happening in my mind immediately. When I saw the video, I saw the dress, obviously the still. I'm thinking, oh, this is a city girl, basically a UK city girl.
Yeah,
she started talking about her choices, and as soon as I could hear how she was speaking, I said, no, this girl is educated, but she's made a miscalculation in what she's decided to do. Because
do you know what? I wouldn't even use the words educated, because there's
smart. Sorry, she's smart.
It's not. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't use those adjectives. I would use wholesome. She's a wholesome girl. Her personality is wholesome. She dressed like city girl, I'm a hoe type dress. And all I'm saying is, when it comes to anything in life, when it comes to connecting with another human being, how you present is how you're going to be perceived, not necessarily who you are on the inside. And if this was a first date with a potential person, with a person that you see as a potential long-term man, then that wasn't the right choice of dress. And no matter how much women don't like that fact, it is a fact at the end of the day. It's something I realized recently. I like to feel good. I like to be sexy. I've got sensuality is just part of my natural nature. And as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that there's nothing wrong with that. It's empowering, like, to be that way as a woman, to accept your sexuality and know that you're sensual and know how to be sexy and for it to come naturally to you. However, there's a time and a place, and everything is about balance. So I'm scaling back on certain things so that I can make sure that how I present is actually who I am on the inside. When people see me, they see me and they go, oh, I'm not going to assume that she's a city girl, you know, or do you know what I mean? Or that she's stush, or that she's this, or that she's that. And that's just life. And I feel like men and women need to accept that how you portray yourself is how you're going to be perceived. If you don't want to be perceived as a criminal, then don't just wear jogging bottoms and hoodies all the time. Present yourself in a different type of way as a man. Do you get it? As a woman, if you don't want to be perceived as a hoe, then present yourself as such, if that's not what you are.
Don't wear a hoe's uniform. It's been said already.
I know everyone's trying to break the mold and be different and try and force people to conform to a different way of thinking, but it's a lot harder to go against the grain and to get most people to agree. Sometimes soft life is accepting that this is how people think. So
also, when you're young, I'm not saying that she's young and this is why she's made this this error or this misjudgment in what she's decided to do. But at least I can say it for myself. When you're young, you definitely lack perspective on certain things, and I personally think you make the world a lot smaller than it really is. And you make the themes that surround the world or that the world understands a lot more malleable than they really are. And when I was 17, 18, or maybe 18, 19, I can't remember, but around that mark, there used to be this thing called pop socks. And like dancers used to wear them loads. I used to wear them, like have black and white ones and all sorts of different color ones. But there was one particular one that I had that I loved. It was my rainbow ones, full rainbow. So I used to wear these around the ends anyway. Sometimes people would stop me and be like, brother, you gay? I'm like, no. They were like, oh, you know, you're wearing like rainbow socks. And I was like, yeah. But the rainbow don't belong to nobody, brother. Anyone can wear the rainbow. Now that I'm a man, yeah, and I've seen how synonymous globally the rainbow is with the LGBTQ community, it's almost ridiculous to think that I thought what I thought before. That because I'm not gay, and because I don't subscribe to those thoughts, feelings, beliefs, that other people who don't know me from anywhere would see me from far and wide and be able to understand that of me.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
I feel like there's nothing wrong with challenging. Like, remember the first thing I said was men need to take responsibility for their own sexual discipline. Just because you see a woman as sexy doesn't mean you should treat her. Just because you see a woman as almost objectifying herself doesn't give you permission to objectify her yourself. I still genuinely believe that, mainly because I'm a busty woman and I have a bum and men objectify me. Even when I'm not even trying to be sexy, they do it and I find that frustrating. And also I feel like everyone should just take personal responsibility for themselves. But if I'm expecting men to do that, then I need to expect women to do the same. When we have sex, more time, unless you're not body positive, more time we're naked. So if you're naked, of course you're going to think of sex. I'm heterosexual. If a tall, dark-skinned, sexy guy was walking down the street in grey joggers, no top so I can see the rocky roads on his back and the glistening on the front, and I can see his dick's bobbling in the grey tracksuit. Wow, the whole
Dixie, though.
Yeah, his penis is bobbling in the grey tracksuit.
She didn't give it Will Lane. She said the dick.
Yeah, it's just so you can understand the size. I'm not talking about small boy here. I'm not going to lie to you. My mind's going to think sex. I might not act on it, but that's what I'm going to think of. In fact, I won't be able to look at his face. Every so often, my eye will drift down there because it's natural. That is do you know what I'm saying? So if you don't want to be seen that way, don't present that way, period.
No, but there's a difference in it, because man, them, if you want to wear the grey jogger bottoms, bruv, wear the grey jogger bottoms. These girls have taken it to some next level.
No, it's not sexy.
It's not sexy attire. Grey jogger bottoms is training gear. This girl did not go in training gear that happened to look nice.
You're not hearing me out. No.
No.
Do you know why it's the same? Do you know why it's the same?
It's not the same.
Do you know? Let me tell you why I believe it's the same. Because you're a heterosexual man, which means you don't find men sexy the same way that I would find a man sexy. You might be able to identify that he's good looking, but there's things that to women is sexy, right? Grey jogging bottoms to women, whilst it's a normal item of clothing, it is still considered as sexy. Technically speaking, Wunmi Bello was wearing a dress.
Yeah.
It's a normal item of clothing, but that dress happens to be sexy to everyone, right? The same way a man in grey jogging bottoms, no shirt, no top, top's glistening, he's wearing it, or he could be wearing, them grey jogging bottom shorts. It's the short version. It's the summertime, it's hot outside, he ain't got a shirt on, everything's glistening, he used the extra shea butter and cocoa butter that day, everything's shiny, he's got the shorts and everything's bobbling and it's moving. To women, that's very hot. Right? It's the equivalent of a girl wearing pom-pom shorts outside, okay? With her big batty. It's the same thing. To men, the pom-pom shorts with the big batty and the booty chicks hanging at the bottom is incredibly sexy, even though she's just wearing shorts. To women, the jogging bottoms...
Nah, she's not just wearing shorts, though, is she?
To you...
Because there's regular shorts.
No,
the thing is, there's regular shorts.
Venom, when I wear regular shorts, my cheeks are cheeking.
But that's different because you got extra cheeks to cheek.
Okay,
but,
so if a man is wearing grey jogging bottoms to a woman who is a heterosexual, that is alluring, innit? So don't be upset if you're alluring women with your grey jogging bottoms, innit? Why not wear black ones or navy blue?
Lol.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I was talking to one of my boys literally today, actually, right? And we were talking about in the Black community, there's loads of issues within the Black community. We're not even going to try and get into that. But we were mainly talking about how our parents, not our parents individually, as in Dami's parents, his parents, but in general, the older generation, some of the mistakes that they made that has impacted the Black community is in our generation. So an example of that was the lack of financial literacy within our community, and the concept of specifically African parents, because I can't speak for Caribbean parents, but the idea that you have children so they look after you later. The idea that, you know, when your children are old enough to make money, they give you money, and you feel like because you provided for them when they were young, you don't need to
provide for you when they're old.
Well, more like, for example, we were comparing Africans to the Asian community, and from what I've seen from the Asian community, for example, they pass down wealth to their children, whether that be actual physical wealth or educational wealth. So i.e. you want to be a doctor, okay, you finished your degree, I know other doctors that you can go and do work experience with, I can give you connections. You want to be a lawyer, okay, I know other lawyers, I can connect you and move your career along. Or let's talk financially, for example. Most of my Asian friends were on the property ladder from quite early because their parents did things like, okay, you're old enough now, we're going to remortgage our property, give you the equity so that you could put that on the deposit for another property that's now in your name. So they've now they've passed on some sort of wealth. When you compare that to African families, it tends to be that they get you to go to school quite all right because knowledge is power, but they might not have the connections or built the connections for you to get the work experience. Or they have the mentality of, okay, now that you're making money, you give us money. Because we put clothes on your back, we fed you to this point, we've done our piece, that's it. There's no like passing on the wealth, if that makes sense, or teaching their kids how to acquire wealth. And some of these parents are building houses back in their main country. Do you know what I mean? Like they're building houses back home and stuff, or they might have multiple properties in the UK, but they're not teaching their children how to do that themselves. Instead, they're looking at, well, I worked for you. They see it as I worked for you till you were an adult. Now you're making money. Now I'm going to recoup the money that I put into you because you're going to give me money now. And look after me till I'm old. And it's things like that we were talking about. We were saying how, like, we were talking about how it's a shame that happens. And I thought it'd be nice to bring that to the podcast because we spoke about talking about a lot more edifying and thought-provoking topics, not relationships all day, every day.
Every day.
So I thought it would be interesting to get your perspective on it because I come from a solely African background, and you've got a mixture of backgrounds there. You've got the Caribbean and you've got the African mindset. But I'm just not that we want to make it personal anyway, because by all means, I ain't trying to make digs at my parents here at all. But just in general, it's just something I've seen that there's lacking when it comes to generational wealth or financial literacy or even other things. Like
I've seen that as a community problem, though, not even necessarily a parents problem. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
It's
a community issue. But we were saying how we don't gain a lot of knowledge from our parents. Even if you were to take it down the relationship route, we're not equipped for long-term relationship because I don't think that knowledge is really passed down from our parents like that. For me, I would say my parents raised me to be a wife because in the African way is to teach the girls that you have to know how to cook because you're going to cook for your husband one day. You have to know how to clean because you're going to clean for your husband one day. I don't really see them sort of lessons being taught to the sons about how to be a husband. The emphasis on raising men in the African community is not raising them to be husbands, it's raising them to be providers, thinking that providing is enough to be a husband when there's a lot more there that can be missed. And what that's led to now is we are in a society now where women are saying that men are not doing enough. That's why they're not getting into relationships. Men are saying we're lonely, that women are not even choosing us. But we're making money and stuff, so why are they not choosing us? Well, it's because women feel like there's more to relationship there's more that I should be receiving from you than your money. But if we take it back, it's because they're not taught that, because their parents didn't teach them that more time. They probably taught them, make money and you get the girls. That's what we always hear. Make money and you get girls. Not the soft skills, the emotional intelligence. Do you know what I mean? Whereas women are taught, clean, cook, free up the pom-pom to your man when he wants it and he's happy. So there's a lot more to it, and we're not going to cover all of it. But I just thought it would be nice to kind of start the conversation, and maybe next week we continue it.
We can dive in. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's so many different issues plaguing the Black community.
Yeah.
Financial literacy being a very big one for me, because I feel like as I've grown into an adult man and looked at myself, compared myself to my peers from different ethnicities, and just compared myself to people across the board, the differences that I see mainly is that a lot of Black people are focusing themselves, their careers, their direction and orientation towards themselves being a product and selling themselves, upskilling themselves. It's very literal how Black people operate. It's very much I, and then I sell whatever it is I do to you. Some people are fortunate enough to have houses. Houses make money for themselves. Their assets, I guess, if you manage them correctly. If you don't manage them correctly, they're liabilities. But very, very seldomly do I meet or see Black people who own shops, for example, like a corner shop or a franchise, or sell products that are not trending products. You know, like how there might be a wave where like you might see a few Black people like decide, oh yeah, let's get into cosmetics, and then it becomes a fad. Or let's sell fidget spinners, or let's sell phone cases. You know, like there's certain products that just boom. Not that kind of stuff, because anybody can do that. That's just a quick win. But no one does like slow game sellers, if you know what I mean. Like, okay, I'm going to be like a office accessories or office something retailer and sell chairs and staplers and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? No one that I know does that kind of stuff. And I think it speaks to the fact that our community doesn't celebrate stability. Everything's about like hyper something, no matter what it is, like hyper masculinity, hyper sexuality. Even our music is like, let's say for example, like where Bashment was headed before Afrobeat sort of brought it back. It was becoming like hyper Bashment with hyper sexual and hyper vulgar expressions within it. Like it just kept going along that. I'd say that Afrobeats is probably just bringing it back because they're seeing, oh, there's more commerciality in this kind of sound. Let's bring it more that way. But yeah, it's. I feel like Black culture, from my observation, has become that it's very fast, and no one is really trying to teach people how to slow it down. Everyone's increasing the speed because that's how they see to get more money. Is you're getting the same money, but just make it happen faster. So, and I wouldn't necessarily say that was our parents' shortcoming, because they didn't start the businesses to then learn that, yeah, this is a better way to acquire wealth or to support a family or to have stability. But I feel like at some point, someone should have at least articulated this, that, oh, we missed a trick. Maybe we should try, because no one is even having that conversation of like, so the difference between our generation and our parents' generation is that we never bought any corner shops, really. Whereas the Asian community, they bought all of them. And are they thriving right now? No, not really. Not really. It's hard. It's not easy.
I think
it's not easy money.
I think the reason why there's that, I don't even know if this is a fact or not. It's something I think I'll look into when we pick this up next time. But there's that whole idea that other cultures were here before, particularly the African culture. And so they had more time to establish themselves a little bit more in the Western world. A lot of Africans are first generation or second generation, which means their parents were when their parents came here from Africa, they came here to survive. They weren't at a place where they could buy all the corner shops, where they could, do you know what I mean? They couldn't do that when they were, not as many. When I look at like the Caribbean people I know, there was, growing up, a lot more Caribbeans were in positions where they could do that compared to the Africans. Like most of the like doctors and stuff that I knew, or, you know, like if I go to a friend's house and they were Caribbean, unless it was a single parent home, and even then they seem to have learned how to acquire money or have businesses and stuff like that way more than the African parents, where more time, you know, you've got you know, dad's doing cabin, bus driving, or like a menial job, mum's doing cleaning and stuff like that. It's different. So I acknowledge that because a lot of us were African children are first generation in Western world, that means that our parents didn't even have the resources, the knowledge, the provision, the money to play with in order for them to even create that wealth to pass it on. But and that's a consideration I've made. But we're living in a world now where there's a lot more knowledge. And what I would like to see is that that mentality stops with us, in that us first generation, we're the ones that are starting businesses now. We're the ones that are doing things and thinking outside of the box. You know, more and more of us are buying houses younger, or at whatever point we're buying houses. We've got more access to the knowledge in order for us to acquire, in order for us to make sure that the next generation are better than what we had, and we're able to create that generational wealth from now. So,
but then do you feel like that information is being shared throughout the community properly?
I feel like the information is there. I feel like our community, we focus on the wrong things. I've said this so many times, it might as well be my tagline now. I feel like we focus on things like everyday relationships, everyday man versus woman, and there's reasons why those arguments are even happening, why that discourse is even happening anyway. It's a way to distract us from what matters. And the people that are having these conversations, people don't care. They're not getting the reach because that's not the conversations that people want to hear. But we've already said on this podcast, we're going to talk about it. Whether you want to hear it or not, it's going to be there. I feel like we need more people who are brave enough to start platforms, to continue platforms, to go on platforms, to use their social media presence or their influence to talk about these topics, because that is what's going to spread it across the generations, even if it's not directly our own children, but that's what needs to be discussed. We can fault our parents in a way because we're more knowledgeable and we have, you know, we see things differently. But at the same time, the context matters. So the conversation that I was having with my friend wasn't to bash our parents or any parent. It was just to acknowledge that that's where it came from, but we need to stop it so that the next guys don't have that same reoccurring issue. Especially when we talk about financial literacy. There's no excuse. Do you know what I mean? There's no excuse for you to not know, or for you to at least have for you to want to find out. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I think the desire is one thing.
Thank you.
But you gotta have exposure to have the desire. Because I'm gonna be starting my own business. I have not even started it yet. But that's gonna be my first-hand experience. No, it's not gonna be my first. It's gonna be my first experience with a business as a Black person. Like that, I have no other first-hand experience with any other Black business that operates in the way that I'm planning to operate, if you know what I mean. So I can't really. There's people that I can learn from. Obviously, I've got contacts. I've got people that I know and whatnot, and I'm going to be learning. It's going to be a journey. But my point is, I can only think of, out of my age mates, I can only think of one off the top of my head right now, I can only think of one person who has a business who I am inevitably going to reach out to and say, yo, you know, like, with regards to this, like, how do you approach it? With regards to taxes, with regards to that, with regards to grants, etc., etc.
You're right.
And that's weird because we're in London.
When I started my business last year, I remember feeling a bit of like imposter syndrome. I felt a bit of like, I'm delving into waters. It's a dream, but I don't know how to get to that dream. I have this idea in my mind, but I don't know the steps to get there. A lot of it is, when I say we have the information available, it's literally about doing the research. It's not always about knowing someone. It has to start from somewhere. And I feel like a lot of us need to feel a lot more empowered to be like, I have this idea, I have this dream. I might not know anyone personally within my sphere of influence who I can go to and be like, tell me the deets, how do I do this and that? But I can't use that as an excuse to not even try to find out.
Yeah, of course not. Of course.
When Google is free, there's online courses. All of this stuff is out there, but people are almost lazy to go and find it.
Of course.
And if it's not laziness, I know it's overwhelming having an idea and not even knowing where to start. But I don't know. I feel like for me personally, I would love to be able to empower people to just be like, okay, I don't know anyone who's in this area, but I have a dream. There's something I want to achieve. I'm going to be empowered to go and find that information. And
for sure,
we live in a generation where we use the internet every single day. Google is free. You know how to, for people to know how to, for people to know the latest trends on TikTok, for example, what is stopping you from going, okay, the amount of time I spend scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through TikTok, scrolling through YouTube, scrolling through whatever it is that my entertainment vice is, I can use that time to scroll on Google, to go to like seminars, to find these seminars. To educate yourself. Most of us, if you went to uni, you know how to research, because all they teach you in uni is how to research.
It
doesn't stop just because you got a degree now and you're working now you don't know how to research anymore. ChatGPT is there for free. AI is there. Ask AI. Go and ask ChatGPT, how do I start this business, and let it pull out a business plan.
And it will tell you step by step. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We live in a world now where the resource is there, but we're not using it properly.
Okay, so my issue is not with the access to the information for the knowledge, even though there's loads of people who are lazy and they simply won't do it. That's going to be from now to the end of time.
That's always there.
But my issue is that because we don't have the community of people who are involved in these spaces, once someone like me starts a business, starts coming up onto like adversity, and then people are helping me how you navigate that, whatever, more time those people aren't going to be Black people. They're not going to be from my community.
Not
and
now.
So and so what would happen, not for me personally, but someone in my position, what would happen is more and more I'll be getting investment in my business and insight and help from people who are not Black. And so I'm going to be leaning on people who are not Black more and more.
It's
temporary.
It's
just going to take my business further away from the community.
But it's
temporary. If you look at most Black businesses, they're not nested in the community. We're not, for example, PAX has no right existing because PAX is a hair shop that serves a Black customer base. There's no way on earth that in 2023 we shouldn't have a major competitor to PAX.
We do.
In London.
We do.
So what is it?
So there's Rooker Hair, started by a Black business. They now have adverts on TV. That's how big Rooker Hair has become. They sell synthetic. Yeah, it's all right. They sell synthetic hair. They sell they sell human hair. They sell hair that is synthetic, that acts like human hair, that's made from like recycled stuff, like really eco-friendly products. But they've blown. Do you get what I mean? And as a Black woman that obviously buys into hair products, I know about them. And I don't think there's a lot of Black women in London that don't know about Rooker Hair, to be honest.
I'm going to ask my wife because and I'm going to ask my sister.
Yeah.
Those are going to be my two, and my mum.
Yeah, you can ask them.
Those are going to be my three.
They might, I'll
let you know what they say.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear it. But Rooker Hair is blown. Like, Rooker Hair is blown. But I hear what you're saying. The point I'm going to make, though, is it has to start from somewhere. That's not a good enough excuse to be like, I'm not even going to try. The more and more people that take that, that's kind of, that's to me is almost like accepting that there's challenges and there's no point. But if, imagine a group of people bypass that feeling of I'm only going to end up having I'm going to end up having all the help I'm going to get is not going to be from black people, or I'm trying to collect my thoughts and put it in a succinct way. For example, Fenty Beauty, right? Rihanna's put basically a Caucasian on there as the CEO.
She stepped down as a CEO. Yeah, right. I'm not happy about that. By the way,
people were in uproar because they were like, "You're not keeping the business in the black community."
It was a plan all along. Okay.
I see it as Rihanna's extremely smart because she still has majority shares in the business and majority because of the shares that she has majority input in the direction of the company. She's just taken a back seat. I also understand that in terms of her visibility, I also understand that from a business perspective, it's still a black company. It's always going to be seen as a black company, started by a black woman, mainly with the black woman as the main target audience. She's opened it from a business perspective. It makes sense. She's put herself on a platform now whereby she's a black woman making a lot of money for the product. I feel like if we contain it for the black people only, it's only going to go so far. You have to open it out. It's the same thing with commercialism when it comes to music. Rihanna has enough shares in that company that even her children, she's gonna pass down generational wealth to her kids off the back of Fenty Beauty, whether she's got a white woman as a CEO or not. Do you get what I mean? My issue with those types of situations is when a black person starts a business and then they're not even able to pass that legacy onto their kids because they gave it to the white man or any other culture. It's completely different. In Rihanna's case, and I'm probably not explaining it properly, and I'm looking at the time because I want us to shut off soon, and we'll come back to it. But essentially, she still has enough shares in that company for her to still pass on Fenty Beauty shares and rights to her children.
Yeah, she can pass on
which
shares
means
for
it's
sure.
Which means it's still staying within the community.
But it's not. There's two. I guess it's twofold because you have to look at things like short term and long term. So short term, yes, it is very much Rihanna attached to the brand. Everyone sees the name Fenty, sees whatever, they think Rihanna. She was the CEO yesterday, she's not today, whatever. And she still holds a position of power within the company, even though she's not CEO and has a majority share stake, as you say. However, she sold the company to LVMH Group many years ago, which has led to the success of this company, which when she stepped down as a CEO, I understood it as being the original game plan and what they agreed from the beginning. The reason why I am not for it is because I wasn't for her selling to LVMH Group in the beginning, because that is not a black conglomerate. So ultimately, this went from being a black company that Rihanna owned to being the property of a conglomerate that's not black. So it was already gone from there.
But there isn't a black conglomerate for her to build wealth.
I'm not saying there was. I'm not saying there was.
Whereas now, what I'm trying to say is, just to summarize what I'm trying to say, and of course we're going to pick this up because we've started it late anyway, is it has to start from somewhere. We've never had a Fenty Beauty before. We've had other black makeup.
We haven't.
We've never had something to that scale that opened that. Fenty was the first one to start making different shades that can suit any woman. Like, she was so inclusive from the get-go, and we've never had that. And because of that, we've now seen lots of other little businesses pop out, spring out, because they've been inspired by Fenty Beauty and they're doing their own thing. And then we've got white, and I use white meaning basically other, not black, competitors that are doing similar things. And she's completely changed the landscape of makeup just from creating Fenty Beauty. That is a legacy that sticks with a black face. Do you understand me? So now...
And lingerie.
So now, there's going to be an influx of other black people doing the same thing. Eventually, we will have a black... I can't pronounce the word.
Conglomerate.
Thank you. That will be able to start owning them. But it has to start from somewhere. So just going back to your point around you're starting a business personally, or anyone that's starting a business that is Black, who might feel like, I don't know where to go for resource, take that into your own hands and go and seek out courses, you know, webinars, go to talk, stuff like that. Seek people out and seek out the resource yourself. The world is your oyster. But like at the same time as saying that, don't hold that chip on your shoulder of, oh, but there's not enough of us. The Black community don't even buy, because there's also the Black community don't even buy half the time from their own Black counterparts. There's always a problem. Don't take that. If everyone just carried on doing what they were doing and creating the business that they were creating, eventually we will have a community of Black people who'll be able to in future do things like, oh, your son wants to get in the music industry. Oh, there's Venom, my boy Venom, or I know someone who's got his own production company that you can go and, I don't know, be an apprentice at and learn from him, as opposed to going to Sony down the road, who is owned by a white man. If we have enough people within our community doing it, eventually for the future generation, we'll be able to sow back into them the way that we haven't been able to receive because we didn't have that. And that's the point that I'm trying to make.
No, I feel it. I hear it, man.
Yeah.
And even just in you saying that, you made me come up with an idea. I'm actually going to say it, and then I might look into doing it. But what we need is the yellow pages, but for Black people. So we need the Black pages because all our businesses are there, but they're not connected in any way, shape, or form. And we need to work with each other's businesses.
It's not even just businesses. It's things like there are so many Black solicitors, Black doctors.
Yeah, the services. Yeah, everything.
Everything. And a lot of people just don't know where to go to be like, I want to get into this. How did you do it? Right? And I mean, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more offshoots to this conversation. But as a community, we need to start moving as such, in that we need to try and help each other and, you know, look back as well as looking forward. I love your idea, by the way. I've heard it before, but I don't think I've seen someone execute it yet.
I've definitely not seen it. And then I'm like, it's. I think usually when I think about that, I think too big, and I think that's very simple.
Scale it back down. Start small.
Just basics.
Yeah.
It's just pages and what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah, man. Trust me. I mean, I love to talk. So if anyone was like, oh, how do I, like, in the finance sector, etc., would you mentor me, or would you like take a meeting with me to talk about your career and how you got to? I'm like, yeah, girl, or yeah, guy, let's do this thing. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm just that way inclined. I've always been, I don't believe in, there's enough space, there's enough room at the table for everyone. So I'm not the kind of person that's like, I'm going to gatekeep because I'm worried about my position. I've done what I've done, innit? And there's more for me to do. Doesn't mean that somebody else can't do. And if they surpass me, they surpass me. If they don't, they don't. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like that's the mentality that we need to have as a community. I feel like, and I'm going to end it on this before I start talking for ages, but I do genuinely believe that in our community, we think about ourselves. We're a selfish community.
Very.
And I know that's been designed that way, but we need to, now that we're aware that it's been designed that way, we need to start thinking about ways to...
Yeah, we need to stop worshipping ourselves, because that's what it is. It's a lot of self-worship and a lot of selfishness that masquerades as protection and security, but it's not.
And we've had to do this because for a long time we didn't have it, and I get all of that, but we live in a society.
We got it now.
We're aware of it now, and we have the resources to get out of it. It's just having a mindset change. But yeah, maybe I've just birthed a new series where we talk about different things, and guys, we'll have more structure to it. I guess it was just an introduction. It's too big for us to talk about in 20 minutes. But yeah, let us know in the comments some other stuff that you might want to hear us talk about, and we will get right onto that.
Unpicked.
I want to shout out absolutely everybody who has stuck with us for our mini hiatus as we did life, and life did us back. That was beautiful. You know, it's a season of change. There's going to be a lot of change and a lot more coming. As always, I feel like we say this all the time anyway. But yeah, so thank you very much to everyone who stuck with us. We are going to keep unpicking as we do, and hopefully you're along for the ride. And, you know, We've even got a few extra threads to unpick with. Oh,
Ow.
I wanted to do some kind of dumb joke like that. But yeah, so this episode will be up, and then we will be back in our many different shapes and forms, doing it remotely, doing it in the studio, having guests, all that fun stuff.
I don't know what I was doing. I don't know what I was doing. It was very cheesy.
I saw a little skank. I don't know.
But yeah, guys.
When I did it, it's kind of like titties. Oops.
Anyway. Guys, QR code will be on the screen. Thank you so much if you made it this far. We're happy to be back. Hopefully you're happy to see us. Wait. Subscribe. All that good stuff.
Hit that subscribe, obviously.
Like
button,
the
obviously.
ting. Comment the
Follow
ting.
the ting.
All
Share
of that
the
good
ting.
stuff.
Yeah.
Until next time, guys.
Peace.